finally got this anchor down on the ground. This rock here is so hard. It took about 2 hours with the rock bar, just chiseling away and powdering the rock until I got low enough to make that flush. So now I have to dig one more hole over there. All right, we got that anchor bracket in, and over here this anchor bracket is now cemented in, so I just need to drill out the holes and put some bolts in it, and hopefully that'll keep any high winds from taking the structure and blowing it off down into that canyon. Time to make the breakfast salsa. Alright, so while I wait for the rain to clear away, these boards that you see, these 2x4s, are going to go underneath the building, and they're going to screw up under there, and I'm going to set plywood down inside each one of these rectangles, and then that'll hold the insulation in place so I can put the primary decking on top. Alright, I got a couple of the 2x4s up underneath the floor joist there. I just got to finish this third one. These last three I'm going to wait on because I still have to drill holes in for the anchor over there and put the bolts in. But I'm also supposed to go watch some fireworks with a neighbor since it's the 4th of July. One thing to note, always make sure that you hand pick your material, your lumber, because a guy loaded it for me. I knew better, but yeah, you can see how warped this is, so I have to really pull that up and try to get those screws in. Good morning. Today I'm going to finish putting in the plywood underneath the floor joist there. And I'm going to lay the insulation in there, and hopefully I can put the full decking on today. Well, as you can see, I didn't have enough insulation to finish. Stupid me. This is a 120 square foot building, and one of these covers 48.96 square feet, so that's about 100 square feet, so I'm about 20 square foot short. So what I'm going to try to do the rest of the day is take the flooring plywood and go ahead and cut it and get it nailed down where I can. Oops, some wind. Then tomorrow when I get more insulation, I'll go ahead and nail that part down too. I got some of the decking put down, and I got it fitted up pretty nicely and screwed in, and there was supposed to be a few days of no rain, but as you can see, it is blowing up all around me, so I won't have time to seal this plywood. And I'm not using treated plywood because I didn't want to, so I was going to seal this tomorrow, but I'm going to have to go ahead and take out screws, put all of this plywood on top of itself on one piece, and then put a tarp on top. Iced tea with stevia and some lime, and leftover chicken and rice. I'm a happy camper. A couple days ago I got the plywood decking down on top of the structure, and as you saw, storms were blowing up all around me, so I went and bought this Thompson's water seal, thinking I could come back and seal it real quick, but I ended up just having to unscrew it all, put it under that tarp because the tarp wasn't big enough to cover everything. And yesterday I decided to go get more material, so today's goal is to put all the decking back down, get it screwed on. I got some more insulation to put in, and once the decking's on, I'm going to seal it and let it sit for 24 hours. It's been about 24 hours since I put the water clear coat protective sealant stuff on, and it looks pretty good. So hopefully this will keep the plywood protected, you know, until the roof can get placed on. Today I'm going to start laying out this front wall here. It's going to be a 10-foot wall. The others are going to be 8, 8, and 8 foot, and then it'll just be a shed roof coming down from the 10-foot wall to the 8-foot wall. I'm going to build this wall on the decking. I'm going to show you my layout. So we have a corner joint here. So we have a stud, we have blocking, another stud. You'll see that later. We have a stud, 16-inch on center. We have a cripple for the header. And then the door opening starts here, goes 38 inches over the rough opening. Then we have another cripple that goes up to the header. Have a stud. There's again 16-inch on center. So we have a stud. This is going to be the start of the window here. So we have a cripple going up to a header, and then just the 2x4 that's going to come up like 2 feet or so to support the bottom part of the window. We go over 32.75 inches, which is right here, but we have another 16-inch on center, so we have to have a stud here so the plywood will line up the siding. Then same thing here, we finished the window off, so we have a window cripple, header cripple, and then a stud. And then from there on it's easy, just stud on 16-inch center, stud on 16-inch center, and then more of a corner joint right here. Here's these corner joints I was talking about earlier. So what I'm going to do is take one of these blocks and I'm just going to fit it down in here like that, and another one somewhere in the middle, and then another one down here, and nail them in. And that way, if I ever decide to put interior siding on the structure, there is a nailer for that siding where it meets up against the corner of the wall. Next up, I'm going to rip this 1/2-inch piece of plywood. Let's see, I can have it marked here. That plywood's going to get sandwiched in between this 2x6 and this 2x6, and I have to do 2 of them. One's for the door, the header is going to go up above the door, and the other one's for the window, another header for above the window. That'll give it structural integrity. This at some point you're gonna have to be up here too, so would it be easier for you to already be up here and let me lift the first 3 feet, and then while you hold it I readjust, or do you prefer to be down
Tell
here?
you what, why don't you stand right here and get it from about there, and I'll get it from about here, and we'll just go right on up with it. We can step up here together with it as we go.
Sounds good.
Because once we get up so far, you know, get about there, it's going to get easier.
All right.
So all we got to do is get to there.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're on top of that tube, I think. Let me see if I can.
I think I made my braces
There we go.
too tall, didn't I?
Now we're looking good. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff, for coming over and helping me stand that wall up. That would have been really hard to do by myself, or if not impossible. But I'm liking how it looks so far. Just still have to add a few more studs in there. Well, I ran out of material, or ran out of studs, so tomorrow I'm gonna have to go buy some more. But for now, I'm pretty happy. Jeff helped me get up that big wall, as you saw, and then I just got that one up by myself with just a little elbow grease. Turned out fairly level. So yeah, I think I'm going to take a shower and call it a day. Here's my fancy little shower room, in case you were wondering. It's just a solar shower, so you just fill that bladder up and the sun heats it up, and it's enough water to get by. So that's that for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Now that I have all this new lumber, I should be able to finish framing all 4 walls, I hope, without having to go get more. Right now, I'm working on this wall and going from the edge of the building, of course, and marking 16-inch centers. Just taking a break before I stand this final wall up. Today, after I stand that up, I'm going to try to get the top plates on. And if I have enough material, which I hope I do, I'm going to frame this wall that I started the other day. It's about 120 miles to the nearest Home Depot, and I can only carry so much weight on this truck that I have, so I'm kind of at the mercy of that. It probably would have been smarter if I did this again to just rent a trailer and get all of the material all at once, so I don't have to keep driving back and forth. But so far so good. I'm pretty happy. Had some crazy wind just come up, testing the limits of the umbrella. It's calmed down for a second, but there's a giant supercell blowing up right over to the north. having some iced tea. While I do, I want to show you guys something that's going to be kind of cool on this structure. So you see this piece of steel channel down here. This is a 3" by 3/16, 3" by 3/16 channel. That is going to rest on top of this stud, and it's going to span all the way across to the top of this stud. And then I'll have another stud next to it that'll go all the way up and basically lock it in. And that will make a cool, useful shelf up there with tons of room to store stuff. Hello, it's another day out here and it is sunny today. I got one rafter up there. I didn't film myself struggling to get that up there, but I did. I also, before I put it up there, I put these 2x4s up there, just sticking straight up, and they're screwed in. And that's just for safety in case a big wind comes up. It's not gonna throw the roof rafter off there while I'm trying to mark it. So let me show you what I'm doing. So first I spaced this rafter off each side of the end of the roof. So I wanted 10 inches off the backside from here to here, 10 inches. Then I took my speed square, and I don't have it with me right now, but put it here on the top plate and went straight up and made a mark. So sort of like that. And then I also did it over here. So I know there's a lot of different ways to do this. What I'm gonna, this roof, if you look at an online calculator, it's a 2-foot rise over a 10-foot run. So that's about 2.5 to 12 degrees. So it's not quite a 3/12 pitch, but I'm gonna measure from here up to here, and that distance is what I'm gonna probably cut out right here. I might go just a little more, because as long as you do all of them the same, theoretically it also just sit down just fine. So this is a 2x8, I can go a little more. So anyway, I'll measure up there, get that point, and then go straight across, and that'll be my bird's mouth cut. Also, I'm gonna cut the end over here and see if I can show you how I'm gonna do that. So this little angle finder, I'm gonna put it up like this. It says it's about 79 degrees. Doing a bad job holding the camera and doing this. Yeah, about 80. So, and then if I flip this around with that angle I just found, you can see it'll look pretty much like that. So yeah, that's what I have to cut off. And I'm gonna go ahead and notch this. If this ends up working out and I like it, this will be my pattern board, and that way I can pattern all the other roof rafters off of this one. All right, so just to reiterate here on the ground, here's that mark I made right here. I don't know if you can see it from my shadow. I marked that when I was up, when the rafter was up on top of the top plate. And I just put the speed square here, lined it up. And as you can see in the common, it's a little bit over 2. It's like in between 2 and 3, around 2.5, somewhere in there. So there, like I said, there's fancy calculators online you can use, but really, I marked it here, and also over there on the high side, same thing. And I'm gonna measure up 1 inch, because that's what I measured from the top plate on the high side. And then I'm gonna go straight over and make my bird's mouth cut. It was 78.8 degrees or so, or 6, something like that. And I found that with the angle finder, as you saw. So I'm just gonna put this here, and I can just mark that and chop that off as well on both sides. So a little bit of a space right there, but pretty close. Other side looks pretty good. So this is going to become my pattern board, and I'll just make all the other 5 based off of this one. that all the rafters are up, I'm going to start cutting the bird blocks. They go in between the rafters. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 6 on the other side. I got all the bird blocks in, thankfully. It was a little bit tedious. You can see there. So I'm thinking tomorrow I'm going to start putting siding on because some of the boards are getting super crooked from the sun beating on them, and the sun is pretty intense out here. But that's for tomorrow. Tonight I'm gonna enjoy this macaroni and cheese experiment. It's got spinach, onion, ground beef, noodles, cheese, some milk. So we'll see how it goes. All right, I screwed on this ledger board or support board, or if you know what it's called, put it in the comments. So I'm gonna rest my plywood on this, and that'll make it a lot easier to just get it set up correctly so I can use the nail gun to pop it in. Good morning. Had a decent amount of rain last night. They're calling for more storms today around 1 p.m., the violent kind, so hopefully we won't get any hail, or they said 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts and stuff, so I hope that doesn't happen. Today I'm going to try to get this these front pieces of plywood on the siding, and we'll see how far I get on the roof. furring strips are complete. Only thing I have to do before I put the tent on is put in the blocking right here on the outer perimeter rafter. So on this side, and then of course on that side, and that way any rats that climb up the wall here, they won't be able to just easily crawl through this giant gap, 1.5 gap. Oh my gosh, these little bugs are super annoying, and they have been swarming me while I've been up here on the roof. If you know what they are, please leave a comment. I don't think they're gnats because, or maybe they are gnats, they're just not the same gnats we have back home in Texas. So if you know what they are, please let me know. I just finished the roof. I'm just going to put a few more screws along the bottom side, like I did up here on the top, just in case I get an 80 or plus mile-an-hour wind. It'll help hold the roof on. All right, next thing I got to do is put this Z flashing up. It's going to go up here and right on top of that piece of plywood, and it's kind of a drip edge, so the next piece of plywood can be put up. Only problem is this is all they had locally, and it's too big. That T111 plywood siding is only 5/8, so this is going to stick past quite a ways. It won't look as good, but it'll still function and keep the rain off. First rain with the new roof on. First night sleeping in here was a success. Slept pretty soundly over there. I'm pretty much done for this trip with the framing. Obviously there's a lot to do inside here. Right now I'm putting up these hurricane ties up there, just in case a big wind comes. It's not going to take the roof off while I'm gone. Feels pretty good in here. I have the fan running off the solar panels out there, as well as the refrigerator, and we get a lot of sun here, so it's pretty efficient. Well, I just finished painting and I'm pretty tired, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I have to get back to Texas and do some work there, so I didn't get to finish all the trim on this, but I'll save that for next time. I'm just happy to have it dried in and somewhat complete. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I know I learned a lot. I want to thank my dad for teaching me how to build stuff like this, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.